guys, this is Joey, just a high-speed dad here trying to share some knowledge. I've been on a few of I've watched a lot of the live videos for high-speed dad, comment on a lot, was on one of theirs, and just wanted to share some stuff recently. Talked about first aid and things like that, and how the actual high-speed dad gear can help with being prepared in crazy situations. So just want to talk a little bit more about first aid and how important it is, different things you can do as a dad to better prepare yourself, so when stuff does go crazy, because it's not if, it's a when, you can actually do what you need to do to, in some cases, actually save your family's life. So the first thing we're going to talk about is training. Something that is really overlooked is that you can have all the gear in the world, but if you're never trained in it, then it doesn't matter, you don't know how to use it. So training, really important. And it's offered by a couple of different sources out there. There is a wide variety of different medical training you can get, from TCCC, which is Tactical Combat Casualty Care, to actual training by the Red Cross, American Red Cross, which is OSHA standard, and they do have like child and infant specific classes that you can take even just as a normal person, like infant CPR, child CPR, which are actually really important, really useful things that people easily overlook. And some places that offer TCCC classes are North American Rescue, which is a really good one, and then SOA Rescue. And another avenue, obviously, in-person training is going to be your best source for actually learning how to provide first aid. But if you can't get to that, obviously with COVID or other things going on, there is a lot of good resources, whether on YouTube or actually where you can do online classes, which is not as good, but is definitely better than nothing, and give you a lot better baseline knowledge until you can get to a course. So some different avenues there for training. Another thing that's really important when it comes to first aid is understanding the different types of approaches when it comes to first aid. Some people obviously have a more tactical mindset because of their job, and some people have a more relaxed, maybe workplace mindset because they're dealing with maybe stuff in a warehouse. They might deal with something falling on someone, not necessarily a gunshot wound. But in both of those approaches, there's something that's they do, which is called the tiered approach to first aid. And that tiered approach is just having different levels of first aid, from Ouchie Boo Kit, which is normally commonly called, and that's just Band-Aids and Neosporin, alcohol wipes, to all the way to a mass casualty kit where you can keep that in the car, and literally you have IV bags, you have tourniquets, you have splints, you have quick clot, just a wide range of stuff in a larger quantity, so that you can actually help mass casualty, help save a lot of lives. But and they come in varying packages. This might be something more of like an individual first aid kit, or something that's more of like a Ouchie Boo Boo kit and some trauma. And then this would be more of a mass casualty kit, something inside a backpack, so you can easily take it out there and get to where the incident is and actually help people. But either way, even if it's just in your home or you have it in your car, the thinking about things in tiers, having an Ouchie Boo Boo kit, you have Band-Aids and alcohol wipes in there. You necessarily don't need Band-Aids in your trauma kit if they're located in the same place. You know what I mean? And so you don't have to go in your trauma kit to get stuff out of that. And so just thinking about first aid, having that approach to it can kind of help you organize what exactly you want to do and how you want to bring things together when it comes to your first aid kit. Another important thing when it comes to first aid is placement. So where do you actually have everything staged? So I know for me, I have a first aid kit in both of my vehicles. I have one centralized in the center of my house, and I have like Ouchie Boo Boo kits everywhere. And they're placed there for a reason. If we're out, I have an Ouchie Boo Boo kit in the diaper bag, but also if something more serious happens, This lives in the center console of my wife's car. If anything happens, I know that she can get to this and actually apply a higher level of first aid if that's necessary. There's also one that lives in the back of my car, which has a little bit different tools because I know a little bit more than my wife does because I'm TCCC certified, and I've done a little bit more diving and learning and knowledge when it comes to it. So I know how to use different types of splints, like the SAM splint from there and stuff like that, and I know how to use quick clot a little more, even though there's some in here just in case, but I have more of that in mind, stuff like that. But yeah, living in the center console, very easy for her to get to, and she knows it's there because that's also where she keeps her like registration and stuff for the vehicle. So every time she goes to get that, she's looking at the first aid kit, which is good. Making it accessible for the entire family and them knowing where it is also really important. So, and the one that's in the centralized location of the house is more of a backpack, and it's filled to the brim with trauma stuff, with ouchie boo-boo, and everything in between. I mean, I've got iodine in there to help irrigate wounds, ice packs, pretty much almost anything you could think of besides sutures, and actually being able to sew someone up is the only thing I don't have right now. And again, varying on your actual knowledge level and capability, you might not want to have that because you don't want to think you can do something, start to do it, and actually make someone worse. So obviously, again, whatever in your first aid kit is going to be more tailored to you, the things that you encounter, but also the things that you know how to do. So all that kind of leading us to talking about what's inside this first aid kit. Like I said before, this is the one that lives in my wife's center console, and it is one of the high-speed daddy first aid kits, which I love for their size because you can stuff these things full, as you see I have, and it has tons of stuff in it. Anything that you could honestly probably need is in here. So we'll talk about kind of what's on the outside and the inside. First thing is you want to be able to distinguish your first aid kit from everything else. Obviously, this little patch on here is a universal sign that everyone knows for a first aid. So if you have like your first aid kit mixed with other bags or pouches or stuff, you want to be able to easily discern it from your other stuff. Whether it's having a tourniquet on the outside or having a patch. I kind of have both because you can never have enough tourniquets. And that's the next thing I'm talking about. These are CAT tourniquets. This is what the United States military uses. The Marines, specifically what I'm in, and this is what I'm trained in to use, and it is, from all of the medical professionals I've talked to, one of the most effective tourniquets you can get, and you want to get something that's reliable and something that you know works. It's obviously meant to stop more serious bleeding. You know, if an artery or vein is actually full, like gushing blood, you can use this on any of the extremities to actually cut the circulation and more than likely actually save the person's life, if not their actual limb. And something that's really important about that, so obviously medicine is evolving just like everything else. As history goes on, we learn more and more. It used to be that they, you know, it was start the breathing and stop the bleeding was what they taught a lot of military service members, and what they were finding out, people were bleeding out faster than they could actually save them. And the reason for that is you can survive without air for 3 minutes before brain damage starts. It's 3 minutes. But you can bleed out in 30 seconds, depending on exactly where, you know, you're actually hurt. So they changed that to stop the bleeding and then start the breathing. So just a little tidbit for you. But keep Sharpies with them too, because whenever you put the tourniquet on, you just want to write the time that you did. So whenever they get to further on care, they can actually know when it was put on, because if it is on for too long, it can damage. It can damage the actual arm or the leg, wherever it is. But just like medical advancements we were talking about, it used to be if it was on for more than a couple of hours, then you more than likely were going to lose the limb. Now they've been able to extend it for almost more than 24 hours. You can have a tourniquet on, and you'll most likely keep your limb. So getting to the inside, a good thing that I actually like with the high-speed dad pads is that when you open up this kit, it doesn't completely open up all the way, and it doesn't make everything spill out all everywhere. You want something that will contain everything that you need, make it easily accessible, but also not something that's going to throw your stuff everywhere. So they come with this sleeve, and I haven't put it in there yet, but I'm actually going to put steps to first aid right in here, which I think is really good, especially, you know, if my wife gets this, and if it is a crazy situation. A lot of times it's hard for you when your adrenaline's pumping to actually think things through. So just having step by step for some basic things that she can follow. So when she's not thinking straight, I mean, she still knows how to read, so she can just read through, follow the steps, and you know, fix whatever's not needed, or fix whatever's broken. So something to write on. This is for multiple things, and you never know when you're going to need something to write on. Obviously something to write with. You could be treating mass casualties, and you need to write down, start triaging people. Obviously, if you're not trained to triage, don't triage. But if you're trained to triage and you come up on a mass casualty situation, you could help in that way, and it'd be easy to write this down and then actually put this somewhere where everyone can see it, so you've already triaged the person. But also, as things are going on, you might want to write down these are the symptoms that they're experiencing, so when you do get to further on care, you don't have to remember everything. You have it written down, so you can be like, this happened, and this happened, this is what they're experiencing, and get them better care faster. So something to write on, write with. Another thing, and I have this in all my bags in a million places in the car, is electrical tape. You can use this for a lot of things. Obviously, the first aid tape's good too. I've found that this is usually cheaper. You can go to Harbor Freight and get like 10 of them for like $5, like 10 rolls of these. And they work as well, especially because the electrical tape sticks to its stuff really well. If you needed to pack a wound or anything like that and then wrap it, you can wrap it in the electrical tape really easy, and it'll stay tight. And it's worked. I've seen it used in multiple applications and used it that way myself. One of those Velcro rolls of gauze that you can actually use to, compression wrap, that you can actually use to put gauze anywhere to pack a wound, to keep the wound sealed. It actually helps with splints too. So if you had, even some sticks, broken arm, you can actually put the sticks in there, wrap the compression bandage around it, and it will, make a good splint, keep a arm from getting worse. Sprained ankles, I mean, tons of stuff you can use for this, and it'll help so much. So just to roll this with Velcro. Obviously it's not sterile, so you wouldn't want to put this directly in a wound, but definitely helps for a lot of different applications. Alcohol, just, isopropyl alcohol, 70%. I either use 70% or 91%, just whatever's available, but you want to make sure that it's 70 or above, so it actually kills the bacteria and anything, and you're disinfecting whatever you're using before you put it in something or someone. Getting here, so on these actual first aid kits, you kind of have like a divided pocket on this left side, and on the right side is kind of a zippered pocket sealed away, and I kept that for actually kind of like a trauma side. So this is for if there's major bleeding, all I have to do is open this, and I know exactly in this zipper, this is where the quick clot is, and this is where a whole bunch of gauze is. So I can just start stuffing gauze. If I can't get to the quick clot, but then get to the quick clot, put the quick clot in, and just keep stuffing more gauze to make sure that everything seals up tight and they're not bleeding out like we were talking about earlier. And it's easy. It keeps it from going anywhere else in the bag or getting mixed up with other stuff. So I really like that with their zipped up pockets. And this is just some quick clot I literally got from Walmart. Bleed stop. It works. Like, you don't need to spend a whole lot of money on a lot of stuff, but when you're buying medical equipment, there are certain things you definitely want to spend money on. Probably get something that's more name brand and a little bit more reliable, because your life could depend on it. So really important. These are awesome. This is the Ouchie Boo Boo kit, and this one just sits right in here. So if it is an Ouchie Boo Boo, pull it apart, grab it, and it's right here. This is a boot band. It's kind of like a hair tie, but Marines use them to blouse their boots. And inside it's just got Band-Aids, Neosporin, alcohol, the alcohol wipes, normal stuff. So this is used more so than anything else in here. So we have to keep replenishing it a lot, but it works great. You want something that's going to keep everything separate. Again, you don't want to be digging around through a whole bunch of stuff for something that especially that simple. So Ouchie Ubu Kit just lives right here. Comes out a lot, but we always got to make sure we put it back. Talking about triage earlier, kind of using this for triage too, but this is actually like a missed report, kind of what the military uses as a triage. So, you know, again, mass casualty situation, or if you kind of need to collect your thoughts on, okay, what am I exactly looking for to make sure that, you know, something's not really wrong with my son or my daughter, you go through the different symptoms that they might have, and this kind of just focuses you back in on, okay, what could be happening? Okay, it's none of these. Okay, it's this, and you follow through each step by step. You know, MISS is mechanism of injury, type of injury, signs, and treatment given. So you can. It also helps you better articulate your words to give more information to first responders on exactly what is going on and what you've done to try and stop it. But kind of hones you back in on, okay, something's happening to my child, but I need to help him. So that's also another good thing for it. Cough drop bag. I'm pretty sure it's not just cough drops in here. Let me double check. No, this one's just cough drops. But sometimes what I'll do is, you know, cough drops, ibuprofen, Tylenol. You just keep it all in this. All the cough drops are individually wrapped. So if you have like individually the smaller like things of Tylenol or whatever, ibuprofen, just throwing them in there, and it keeps it all the like, I call it like feel good stuff. All your feel good stuff in one place. And again, not floating all over your first aid kit, so when you're going to grab your quick clot, you don't accidentally grab a thing of Tylenol. Alright, right here, some spray Neosporin. This stuff's really good, especially when you're dealing with kids. It's a lot easier to apply to Band-Aids and to them directly, because when you get the actual ointment, sometimes it just gets everywhere and it gets on their clothes and it can stain their clothes and just gets a little bit more of a hassle. So this Neosporin to Go spray is actually really cool. We have one in here, and then I'm pretty sure we have one on a keychain as well. So that's really good stuff. Vaseline, used to treat tons of stuff. Just a small portable pouch too, so you don't have to get the tub and stick it in something. Useful for tons of things. Infant's Motrin. This, and then I think we do have the syringe. I think I might have taken it out because we were using it. So you got to put all that stuff back. But yeah, you never know when you're out, and you know they might just get fussy, and they might not be feeling too good, and you might be too far from the house. You know, if you're an hour or 2 hours away doing something, or even if we're camping out of a car, and we need something like that, it's in the first aid kit that lives in the car, so they can get to it, and they're not feeling horrible the rest of the camping trip, or they're not, you know, being horrible on the rest of the way home, so they can actually probably sleep until they get here. So like I said, I'm in the Marines, and I live on a military base, and those were just some Cobras flying by. They do a lot of training missions and stuff, so kids actually really like that. It's cool for them. It does get annoying when you're trying to record YouTube videos though. But and also, you know, talking about the motion before, you don't want the kids to feel bad. If you're not feeling good, you need to be at your best to make sure you're taking care of them at your best. So Tylenol, extra strength, you know, keeping some stuff like that. We have ibuprofen that's in the center console too. Again, you just want to make sure that you're good so that you can better take care of them. I think that's everything kind of here in this basic first aid kit I have. And again, you just vary it to fit your situation. You know, if you don't have infants, you don't need infant Motrin. You know, if you're someone who you know, doesn't actually, I don't know, use cough drops, then you're not going to have cough drops in there. If you're someone who likes more natural stuff, and you'll probably have elderberry or something else crazy in there. Colloidal silver, all that stuff. My wife's more natural, so I know kind of about that stuff. But also, I wanted to talk about masks have become a more common thing too, but we had masks before all this COVID started. And the reason is, if you're helping someone, because this first aid kit lives in the car, if someone was on the side of the road and needing help and I went to give them first aid, you don't know what they have. They might be sick with something besides COVID. They might have, a bloodborne disease or something like that, and you're dealing with a car accident where they broke a bone and it's actually sticking out of the skin, and you're trying to help them. You want to be able to cover your face because you don't want that getting in your mouth. I usually have sunglasses and also a clear set of glasses in the car too. If it's night, you don't want it to get in your eyes. We have gloves in the car too. You don't want it getting on your hands and stuff like that and then getting onto other things. So that might be good stuff to have as well. We just keep a box of gloves in the glove compartment. And it works. I mean, it fits in there perfectly, and it's really easy to pull gloves out when we need it, and we're using them for all types of things, not just for first aid stuff. I actually, we got one of those water coolers, and I had to go refill the jugs, and I didn't save the cap. So when I went and was done filling up the machine, I took a glove out, put it on top of it, and took some first aid tape and wrapped it around it and actually sealed it that way so I could take it home. So you never know what you're going to use it for. Obviously, if it's like Quick Clot, I wouldn't use Quick Clot on crazy things. I'd save that for what its purpose is. But gloves, obviously, you can use those for tons of stuff. And kind of getting back to where these tourniquets are, I see all the time online ads for tourniquet pouches that are like $30 a piece. And that's a little bit annoying to me. Obviously, if you're an operator and you're kicking indoors and doing cool stuff, unlike me, you might need something that's a little bit more secure. But these boot bands, it's like 10 for a buck. And I literally wrapped it through the molly and created a tourniquet pouch. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. So if you do get a cat tourniquet like this, what you can do is take a boot band like this, and it has hooks on both sides. So you feed it through both sides of the molly, re-hook it, and then pull on the top and bottom. And what it does is just create loops on both of these sides here. Just easily feed it through, and it's quick to come off and it's quick to go on. It holds your tourniquets there, and I spent $1 instead of $30 on a pouch, where now I can use that rest of the money and buy another first aid pouch and put it somewhere else, right? So thanks guys. If you actually like this, let Craig know, put it in the comments, let me know. I want to be making more videos, and if it's actually helpful, and obviously I want to learn. If I said something that was stupid and horribly wrong, let me know. If you guys have better suggestions, I want to know. And just like the heart of this page, High Speed Dad, we're dads helping dads, and we want to share our knowledge, help each other out as much as we can, and do it in a loving way. So I'm open to anything you guys got. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.